we should be, and we will be answering questions again today, as well as doing a quick talk on how to use the inspection flyer that Sherranda Ivey put inside the Facebook group. So just make sure you guys are plugged in for that. If you have any questions, start putting them in the chat now so that we can scroll through them. It makes it easier and more convenient. If you have a question that you want to literally ask, you can always put your hand up. So let me tell you guys, it's much easier. It's much more convenient if you guys put your hands up and we just call you one at a time. That way we can clearly answer your question instead of trying to figure out what that means. Because sometimes what you put in a chat may not make sense as a question to us when we're reading it. So sometimes it's better to just raise your hand and ask the question. So if you guys have any questions, if you start raising your hand now, then after we finish going over this sheet, we can then just go in a row and go down the line at whose hand was raised first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then answer those questions. And it'll be a lot cleaner if we do it that way. So, of course, appreciate you guys all for being on with us again. This is the Monday night CDLP Sales Motivation Zoom. And what we do in this Zoom is we talk to you about how to sell the CDLP membership to the CDLP transportation companies and individual drivers. We also make sure you have a clear understanding on what the CDLP membership does. Of course, we discuss different things at different times, but it's normally CDLP specific, group CDLP things, selling the small business plan to transportation companies. And this call is hosted by the CDLP certification trainers and our person who lets you in, who helps answer the questions in the chat is CDLP field trainer who does a lot of CDLP, Ms. Sharon Holiday. She works with us as well. As far as certification trainers this evening, Sherranda Ivey's on here and she'll introduce herself. She's in Georgia marketplace. And I'm in the Florida marketplace, and John Hofmann is in California. He's on the West Coast. But we'll do some quick introductions so that we can get started here. So I am going to go ahead and get started with Sherranda, ladies first. So Sherranda, you go ahead and start and pitch over to John.
Awesome. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Sherranda Ivey, here out of Georgia. I've been with Legal Shield. This is our 9th year. We've been trainers now. I think this is going on our 3rd year. Earned the Ladies of Justice Field Trainer of the Year. We're Emory Elite Associates, and we've written over 1,000 personal memberships. And I just love this space. Just learned this space, and I do a lot of cross-selling with small business plans, serving the entire company and the drivers. And so this is a good place to start to learn. It's a lot of information that you definitely have to, really know to have conversations. It's best to learn a little bit about the industry so you can have some conversations to learn more about the companies. But, we are the state trainers for Georgia, Business Solutions, field trainers as well. And so if I can help anybody, I do host the accountability call on Thursday nights. Those individuals are doing some phenomenal things, in that space. So, if you want to get some accountability and you're working in the space already, that's the place to be. This here is, definitely a place where you can just chill out and listen. But on accountability, you definitely have to talk, share some stuff. So, if we can definitely help you, we welcome you to tap into that. So with that, I pass it over to you, John.
Well, good evening, Legal Shield family. John Hofmann. I'm the California Commercial Certified Driver Trainer out here. I go out in the field quite a bit compared to a lot of other associates that do it virtually and remotely. So I do go out and visit trucking companies. I've been doing this for going on 14 years at Legal Shield now. The CDLP is what attracted me to the company because my previous business that I had dealt with truckers. I would sell them truck tires and accessories for their trucks. So I knew a lot of their their issues that they had, a lot of pain points when they couldn't pay me for their tires. It was because they had a ticket. And in one case, the most expensive ticket I've ever seen is $24,000. And I usually share that with my training, and how we had overcome a lot of that with our attorneys, and training people how to use the service is a great joy that I take in there also too. So when you market this membership right, they do stay on the books, and it's a amazing membership. It works like it's supposed to, and I'm always willing to help people that they need help reaching out to companies. I'm learning it remotely from Sherranda. She kind of taught me her skill with that, and getting better at that. But walking in companies firsthand, face to face is where I'm strongest. Okay, Robert.
Dunbar. Dunbar. There you go.
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. All right, Robert Dunbar here. Been with the company about 13 years. Been a CDLP certification trainer for, I keep losing track, I think 4 years or 5 years or something. Training on the networking side for about 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And just here to help, guys. Here to help. 100K ring earner. Got 250K ring earners on my team. Work the networking side, the insurance side, the business solutions side, the small business side. So I've tested all the areas of legal shit. They all work. So just so you all know, definitely a great company. Pays residual, pays you up front. Definitely pays you all the ways that they say it. So we are here to just make sure that you have a better experience in the CDLP space. When it comes to opening CDLP groups, selling individual CDL plans, selling small business plans to trucking companies and transportation companies. So thank you guys for joining us again. So we're going to first get started with just making sure you guys understand how to use that sheet that we talked about. So brake inspections are coming up here. And this is a great way to use that sheet for an icebreaker. Sherranda Ivey has put that sheet on the Facebook page. If you go to the CDLP Facebook page and go to the file section, you will see the handout that you can use as an icebreaker. And I'm gonna turn it over to Sherranda Ivey to see how she would suggest that you use that to prospect companies or to inform and educate companies that you're already talking to. So if it's a group that you already have, if it's plans that you've already sold, if it's companies that you're trying to get into, if there's companies that you're going to approach tomorrow, the next day, next week, next month, you can always use that flyer. And we have those every year. Sherranda, I dropped that one in there. So Sherranda, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
All righty. Well, I'll tell you how I used it. This was a great tool for me when I really didn't know what to say. So for the new people on the call, if you're looking to make dials and you really don't know, or you're kind of fearful of saying something, just make a dial and tell them you want to share some information with them and send that over. They will appreciate that. Last week, I sent a lot of them out. I actually sent some out this morning to some of my carriers that I already have. But also it's in March, it's a safe drive enforcement and education period, especially here in Georgia. So distracted driving and reckless driving is going to be the focus. So DOT will be out in March a lot here in Georgia, and they're focusing on safe driving. So you want to share that with your prospects as well. And that'll be actually this week, March the 1st through the 3rd. So this type information is good icebreakers for you to share with your clients. Believe it or not, a lot of the smaller guys, they don't really keep up with the industry. They really don't know, what's going on. So if you can be that resource for them, they'll appreciate that. I had about 2 guys last week say, you know what, I need for you to call me every week. And that was just the first time we talked, but just sharing some information with them. Both of them was like, yeah, I need to hear from you every week. And so, that's how you build those relationships. And so, this is something just definitely to pick up the phone and just see, can you send it over to them through email? If you get their email it to them. If you're walking in, take it in with you. And just give it to them to share with them. It's some information. And if they know about it, great. If they don't, you just did them a good deed. So that's how you have to look at it. And I know a lot of us on here, these are the types of things that we send to carriers outside of just trying to send Legal Shield stuff. So this is stuff you can send and they will be appreciative of it. So over to you, John.
Okay, well, yeah, I have a library of these flat sheets. Of course, the one I'm using now is the one about the road check coming up in May, and also the 5G upgrade on the logbooks. And I'm going to my existing customers with that, of course, asking for referrals at the same time. But keeping your existing customers is just as happy as finding new customers with this information. So that's what I was doing this week, actually, is sending as many of those flyers out as possible, handing them out to, actually not sending them out, but handing them out to customers that I already have. And when I was field training with a couple of other associates, we are starting to create relationships with these transportation companies. And that's the name of the game, is creating a relationship with them, because you'll find out you really don't get an opportunity to open up a group with the first contact you have with them. It usually takes a number of contacts in order to do that. Although this week I did have that unusual success of making one initial contact, field training with somebody, and he saw it right away and he signed up, and we got 100 new drivers waiting to talk to. But that was the icebreaker, is just bring that information up front and sharing that with them. And that's information that a lot of small companies probably don't find out about it sometimes till it's too late, or they don't find out about it at all. Large companies tend to have that information sent to them through their inter-office personnel that have there. They might have an inter-office attorney on staff, or a safety manager that's really up to date in all those safety issues. But the smaller companies that are just challenged with day-to-day issues with running the trucking company need that information, and they get it from us, and we are quite valuable when we do that to them. Okay, Robert.
Dunbar. All these flyers that
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the flyers that we always mention, if you haven't joined the Facebook page, Dunbar has a Facebook page out there, Commercial Drivers Facebook page. So you want to make sure you join that page, because all the flyers are out there on that page. But someone put it in the chat as well. But that's where you can find all the paperwork that we mentioned, all the documents.
Yeah, absolutely. So look in the chat, because, and I hope I'm saying your name right, Sashani put it in the chat. So just scroll up and look at it. If you don't see it because you got on after she put it there, whatever the case may be, then just go to the Facebook page, check the file section, like Sherranda just said, and then there's going to be some other things for you as well. So take some time, pull some of those other documents and see which ones you can use to benefit from as you go out and you work the business. So let's go ahead and get some questions answered. I don't see any hands up, I don't think. Let me see. No hands?
No hands.
All right. I hear somebody saying something. Go ahead.
No, I said no hands at this time.
Oh, okay, no hands. All right. So does anybody have anything? Because if not, we can talk about some other things. Going once? Going twice?
Yolanda Brown, raise your hand.
Yolanda Brown, let's do it.
You're muted. You need to unmute.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Yes, I've seen where it's saying the flyers, we go into the files to get the flyers up.
Yes.
Yeah.
On our Facebook page. Okay, are we talking about the road check? The road check flyers?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
things like that. Okay, I just want to be on point. Thank you. And one more thing, I was on YouTube going through some some of the classes, and I seen on number 3, Mr. Robert, you had went through some steps in how to find different things on the Facebook page, and I just couldn't find what you were saying because I was looking for the more so I could get to the other videos, and I just couldn't find it. So I wish I had recorded. I couldn't record, but you went through steps.
You mean
like,
the
this. I got
videos
the
like?
files. I got that good. But you were saying click something else, and then you'll see something shoot up, and then go to the more, and that's where all of the videos show up. But I couldn't get to that part.
Okay, and you're talking about videos or audios? Strictly videos, right?
The videos from our classes that I've missed. I'm new on board, so I was trying to play catch up and go through from, like you said on video 3. You said if you go from the latest and
Yes.
keep on going, and then we could catch up like that. That's what I've been trying to do. But I just been popping around on YouTube. But I would really like to have gotten what you were saying that leads to actually go down, as we go from 75, 74, 73, and keep going like that. But I can't.
Okay.
If you could show me that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So what I'm going to do real quickly is I think I'm going to share my screen. I think I am. All right. So let's see if this works. So you see yourself on the screen?
Yes.
I'm gonna get you off of there because just in case you don't like to see yourself. How about that? So let me go ahead and hit annotate real quick so I can highlight this a little bit so you guys can see it. Let's see. All right, you see the little red dot moving around? Everybody see that? Put
Yeah, I see it.
Yes.
All right, good. All right, so this is the YouTube. This is my YouTube page, right? So my YouTube page, if you just scroll down, see that? You're gonna see right here, weekly coaching, CDL, sales motivation. If you click play all, see how I've got them listed backwards? You can go right down in a row. And actually, if you let them play, they'll go down in a row. Now, obviously, you're not going to sit there and watch them all at one time. But that's all you have to do is go to the playlist and then go to all, play all. If you want to look for a specific one, a specific episode, then when you scroll down on the page, just go here, and you can literally like see they're all gonna be right here. You can this little arrow here. Look at this red dot. See this arrow? It'll move right along. Just like that.
You ready?
You reader?
So all you have to do is do that, and you'll get to them all there. And that's gonna be from number 2. And the annuals are in there too as well. So the first annual, the second annual, and the third annual, they're all in that list as well. So you'll find them all there when you look. So hopefully that answers your question. I will go to the Facebook page as well and just show real quickly. So if I go commercial drivers, oh, by the way, make sure you guys are registering for the training this Saturday. It is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you register. That's what this is here. $49 for that certification training. Here it is down here as well. Just click that link right there. Right? You click that link. You can make sure, let me see. Can I circle it? Let's see. That right there. That's your link. Hit that link. Go ahead and get yourself registered for that training. And then also on this page, for your file section. If you go here, these three dots over here in the corner, oh, I'm sorry, hold on. I'm sorry, where it says more, right across here. Go to more, go to files. Here's your files right here. See that road check, focus area flyer? You click on that flyer. That's the flyer that Sherranda Ivey put there. This is the success guide, fillable date stacking, everything that we put here. I think it said Rosalie. If you can't get into the Facebook page, if you request it, then somebody can accept you. If you let me see. No, you haven't requested. You got to request to join to get in there. Request to join, then we'll get you in there, and then you'll be able to get to it. All the information that we're talking about here. So if you go to the page, click on more, hit those files. They all gonna be right here. Everything, and it goes down and down. I mean, it's just tons of stuff here, right? So just take a look at it. Just take a look at it. Yep. And what I will do is, just in case somebody doesn't know how to get here, copy it, and I'm going to drop this right in the page here somewhere. I think you guys are down here. Let me see. I'll get this in the chat here in a second. As soon as I finish moving around here, let me stop this share real quick. Chat, and so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this. So that link I just put in there, if you click on that, that'll take you to the Facebook page and just request to join, and then you should be good getting in on the page there. All right, any more questions about anything? Stop this share real quick.
I think Patricia Sanders, I think she was trying to ask a question.
Go ahead, Miss Patricia.
You don't have any sound.
Hear me now? Okay,
Yep.
who is the trainer for the East Coast? I'm in New Jersey.
Well, you can
Who
feel
would
you can look at the list and train with whoever you like.
Okay,
We only have 6 state trainers. But you can call any of the state trainers, or you can look at the list for the field trainers. Just make sure they do CDLP.
okay. Thank
So
you.
that's a good question. That's a good question, because a lot of times people don't understand that. Like the trainers guys are all over. So when it comes to a field trainer, work with somebody that you can work with. Like definitely put yourself in a space where you talk to a couple of different field trainers and see who you vibe with, because sometimes the success in that field trainer independent associate relationship is based on whether or not you guys either
Work together. That makes sense?
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Ursula.
I'm looking for the audios that you all used to have. Are they on the same Facebook?
I don't know. Go back to the Facebook and check media. I don't know. It doesn't look the same like it used to. So it might be on the media. I'm not sure. Like where he just went to more.
Okay.
Because it used to be on their announcements, but I don't know where announcements is on there no more.
Yeah, I know it was on there in the beginning, but then it disappeared. So I'll go ahead and check again.
Dunbar, do you know what it used to say announcements? And that's where the audios used to be. She's looking for the audios.
Oh, you know what? Let me go in there and find them because they did. They moved that announcement button, and I don't know. I never saw anything come out say whether they replaced it with something else or moved it somewhere else. I don't know where it's at either, but I can still search. You can search by putting in recordings because it's gonna still pull up on a regular Facebook page. You know what I mean? If you just type in the right thing, so I'll go and look for it there, and then I'll get it pinned to the top, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, just keep in mind too on some of that stuff, just so you know ahead of time. When you're looking at some of the stuff, especially when it comes to CDL stuff, because the information is so sensitive, try to look at newer stuff because the older stuff, it may not be good anymore. You know what I mean? Like we might be saying things that are no longer valid because it's happened so long ago. Because some of those audios are like 3 years old, 4 years old. So just be careful when you're listening that some stuff you're gonna probably be able to tell that it's just, that's what it's gonna be. But it's different things that'll happen. And especially because this is an ongoing changing industry. So that's why I always say people listen to the old recording, like the freshest Zoom, and then go backwards. That way you have the most current information, as opposed to listening to episode 1 or 2, and then maybe it's some things in there that's changed at this point. So like you see things with the ELD, that's all new information. And if you look at old stuff, you're right, you know, you'll be getting old information when that ELD stuff has to change now. You may not know. We don't want you looking at the old brake inspection information for a date that's not the current date for 2022. Just not really, you might miss what year and hear that date and be thinking, oh, July such and such, and really you listening to an old recording that's talking about 2019 or something. You know what I mean? So just be aware of that if we listen to the old information, if that makes sense.
All right.
Yeah,
Got you. Thank you.
absolutely. Yep.
Dunbar, just Melissa asked about the field trainers. And we done addressed this before. Melissa, you might not have been on here. So this is how field training work, and maybe I'm thinking about Thursday nights because I know we've talked about it there. So how it works is in your state. Your state has a solutions trainer, regional trainer, and they can assign you to, like if you go to a class, they can assign you to trainers in your area. But if you choose to work with somebody else, that's okay too. If if you're working with somebody else or you want to work with somebody else, you can always work with who you want to. You're not obligated to work with anybody that typically in your state or who was assigned to you. So you have that option. You're not bound to work with just who you're assigned to. So if you're working with somebody or would like to work with somebody, just reach out to that person. We have to keep it structured. So that's why we have regional trainers and, field trainers within each state. I know you're in Kentucky, there's no CDLP trainer there, but you might have somebody in the area that maybe do CDL, and maybe, that's how you got assigned or however, but you don't have to work with who, they assign you to work with. So just know that.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually in Indianapolis, but they did sign me a field trainer, but I don't think he does CDL. And since I'm starting to get appointments with trucking companies, I want to be able to have a CDL, someone that knows that.
So Melissa, so I was saying something earlier, but I think my internet did something crazy over here, so I think I cut off. But field training it's going to take you some time to find a field trainer that you can work with. So don't throw the baby away with the bathwater, if that makes sense, right? So when it comes to field trainers, just go through a couple of them, because sometimes you might literally find somebody that knows a little bit less than another field trainer, but you might be able to work with them better. They may have a better personality. You might can build with them better. So sometimes, especially in the training space, there are people who can do something very well but can't train very well on it. There are people who can train very well on something and not do it that well. There's some people who know great information but have a bad attitude. right?
Right.
You got
Right.
people who got a great attitude and their knowledge is not as good, right? So just keep in mind, buy with a couple of people because it's a feeling. Make sure you getting that feeling from that person where y'all can genuinely work with each other, and ask some other people who they're using, because it's going to be very few times that you're going to literally find a field trainer that you really going to like and love that live next door.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
not normally going to work that way. So just try a couple of ones, make sure they understand CDL, and then buy with them. Like, don't make it strictly business where it's just y'all get on the phone and, okay, this is what I got going on. Like, build with that person. If that person, like, I don't have no time to be talking to you about other stuff, you don't want to work with somebody that can't have a conversation with you.
Right.
So just keep those things in mind when it comes to field training. Like, we run into business, guys, and like when you're doing your business, you want to be able to enjoy what you're doing. And you don't want to be working with somebody who, I understand time and, hey, we got a 30-minute appointment, then I got to move on to something else. I get all that. I'm not saying y'all should be lollygagging on the phone, but y'all should be able to have a conversation about more than just strictly business, because it takes a relationship to make a business work that way, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
just make sure that when you're choosing a field trainer, that it's not all about, hey, this person's on the leaderboard, they've been in leadership for 20 years, they've been this, they did that. That is all good stuff to understand and know that they know what they're doing, but also make sure that person is personable at the same time. Because remember, they're talking to your safety directors. They're talking to the people who drive for the company. They're like, you're putting them in contact with your people.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, I don't want you to run them away.
Yeah, right. So some people just, you just make sure you can buy with that person too. So it does take a little bit of time, but that's just part of it. That's part of the process. Finding a good field trainer is part of the process. So I would just say, take your time with it and don't get frustrated when you meet somebody that's like, oh, I keep going through these field trainers. You're going to go through, it's like dating.
Right. Okay. I do have a question. So since I have 2 appointments set, should I still do those appointments or should I wait?
Are they physical or online?
They're physical.
They're physical appointments. I would say, you get feedback from other trainers too. Let Sherranda and John chime in on this too. Me, I'm the kind of person like, look, let me tell you, the best experience you're gonna have is learning. Yeah, like you're right. So I would say, yes, you want to go out there with a field trainer, but I would never say don't do an appointment because you don't have one. Because when somebody says yes, if you cancel, you might not get that yes again.
Right.
So remember, you can always relationship build yourself through an appointment. So remember, like with me, if you let me know when that appointment is, if you go to that office and meet with them, just put me in your back pocket, kind of, and be like, hey, look, I'm on the sales side. I'm not on the technical side. So if you got any specific questions about some things that may apply, if it's okay, I got a business partner I can call that's on standby that's in another state that can help with that. You see what I mean? Sometimes it's okay to do that.
Okay.
And do that. That way you can still go work the appointment because, again, you generally know what you're doing. You're on this call. You take the CDLP certification. I know I spoke with you. Right here, our June just posted in the chat. Use the Lamar Reynolds script. Use the ammunition that we've given you. You know what I mean? And just talk to them. Sherranda talks about this all the time. Build a relationship. Have a conversation. Don't make this uptight appointment, right? You see what I mean? Like, relax and have a conversation with them. Let them know, review their safety score and everything. Look at stuff. Familiarize yourself with the company so you can actually have a genuine conversation with them. When you're talking to them, answer their questions. The ones you can't answer, never be afraid to just say, you know what? I don't know the answer to that. But really, if you really want to know the answer right now, I can definitely give one of my business partners a call because I got somebody on standby.
Okay.
Right? Because they'll appreciate your honesty, your transparency, that you have support, and that you don't know everything, but you got people you can reach out to. All that's going to be important. So that's what I would say. I would definitely not say cancel the appointment, but I'll let John and Sherranda speak to that as well.
And one nice thing is I'm in the chamber with them, so I kind of have somewhat of a relationship. That's kind of a segue into talking with them about it. So.
Oh, that's good. That helps. That definitely helps. So you got another relationship there. So no, Yeah, I would definitely say do the appointment. But Sherranda?
No, I mean, yeah, so, I mean, we all learn. I mean, field training, and I mean, we had trainers always that start to focus on CDL. Like Dunbar was in Florida, Lamar was in Texas, Chris was in New Mexico. But I mean, we've never had a lot of trainers that specialize in CDLP. So we all went out and learned. And I think that's the best way. You already got a relationship with them. Definitely, just go and ask questions, get to know them. You already got some type of relationship with them on the chamber. But also too, think about the size of the company. When I start field training people all over, depending on the size of the company, I've closed a lot of groups, just by on the phone with the associate going in and getting me on the phone. So depending on the size of the company, that's not weird. That's okay. Like Dunbar said, just say, hey, I got, a business partner can answer that. And most of the time, they'll understand. They'll let you call them. I mean, I've closed groups with, the associate had the iPad and he did a presentation. He done played the video. Seriously, I had a guy in Virginia. He was walking in all the time and he would play the video. And if they had a question, he got me on the phone. So, I mean, if you prospect in that area where we say that, they're not big companies, real big companies, it's okay to get somebody on the phone if you got some questions, I don't close plenty groups like that, plenty groups with associates. But like Dunbar said, the best way, especially if you're in a market and you want to go out, you're going to learn by doing.
Right.
You're going to learn by messing up. So
That's
if they
how I
don't know
learn
you're
anyway.
messing up, they don't know. They don't know what you were supposed to say or what you thought you were supposed to say. So I used to say to people all the time, one appointment taught me how to do the next appointment.
Yeah.
From the questions and the answers they said, I would learn how to ask it, when I got the next prospect, what not to say and what to say.
Right.
So like you say, you already got that relationship. Like Dunbar say, just ask questions, get to know them. Trust me, if those are people you already warmed up with, those are the people you need to practice on.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's my take on it. So, but it's not weird. And that's one thing I liked about CDL. It was not weird to get a trainer on the phone to talk to the prospect. I just couldn't see me doing that with the HR director.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just,
That makes, they're a little bit more laid back, the owner of the CDL. Yeah.
But yeah, and so CDL, that's what I loved about that, because we could get on the phone with a trainer. I could call somebody or somebody could call me, and it was okay in this space. So definitely, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
John?
I would say you can use a field trainer for all aspects of going out to transportation companies. Before you talk to a company, when you have an appointment, you can talk to a field trainer and maybe have them go over their SMS report with you, and they'll give you the talking points that you need to bring up to them, and then go on about your appointment, and you know exactly what you're going to talk about. You know exactly what their pain points are, what is affecting their company. You can also use a field trainer to take with you at the same time, or maybe if you can make a follow-up appointment to say, well, we have trainers in our company, or I don't know if trainers is the right word you want to use, but we have experts in our company that can answer all your questions for you if you have any that I might not be able to answer, and then maybe put them on a Zoom or a 3-way call and schedule a follow-up appointment, or use a field trainer for the whole process, from beginning to end to the enrollment. So you can use a field trainer for any of those aspects. It doesn't have to be for the full thing. You can just be for the beginning, for the end, or the middle.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Willie did that. Willie did that. What he did that Friday? Willie had some appointments Friday. He was booked, but he reached back out after he talked to him. He got to feel. A lot of people do that. I see the chat. AJ. I think AJ Dunbar taught AJ biggest company he has. AJ's in California. Dunbar's in Florida. I mean, that's what we do. And like John said, when you can go over that company and you can talk about what that company is going on, not being general, they want to talk to you because they want to know. I had a guy I talked to last week, and see, people get intimidated by people saying, oh, I've been in trucking 20 years. This man had never seen his safety report. He didn't know where to go. I talked him through it. He never seen it. He's been in business 20 years. And so don't be intimidated by these people. Numbers doesn't mean It just doesn't. That's why we're calling, because the numbers are bad. But yeah.
So something else too, Sherranda, like, and this is, how many of you all consider yourself, right? And this is a serious, honest question that you guys have to just within yourself. How many of you all go in the chat and just put me or yes or whatever, feel like you guys are actually business owners? If you feel like you're a real business owner, right? Forget I'm a Legal Shield associate and all that. I get all of that, guys. Are you a business owner? Do you feel like you're a business owner? Let me tell you something that business owners do. Business owners, without a doubt, say yes and figure it out. That's what they do. If somebody calls your company for a product or service and they're willing to pay you for something that you do, you tell them yes and you figure the damn thing out. That's what you do as business owners. That's part of being an entrepreneur. So when somebody says, hey, look, you can talk to me about what we offer, go in there and do your best. And you will find a leader to help you. Let me tell you the quickest way to get somebody to help you, a leader, a manager, somebody that knows what they're doing to help you, is when they see that you put the effort in to get it set up before you went out there. You will not have a problem finding somebody in this company to help you with an appointment over the phone that you've already scheduled with a company. Because the first thing a leader, even if the person is busy, they're going to try to do it because naturally, right? I'm talking from and you can see Sherranda shaking her head. You can probably see other leaders shaking their heads. It's almost like an addiction. If you call me and you got somebody ready to go, I almost don't know how to say no because I'm excited for you. You see what I mean? So when you call me and tell me, oh, I'm going to call these people, I don't want to hear about you calling nobody. Call me when you got somebody. Don't call me when you don't do that. Because I'm going to be excited for you, right? So if you just start making calls or you start walking in places and somebody says, you can talk to me and they ask you a crazy question, all you have to do is say, you know what, let me see if I can get one of my business partners on the phone. I'm on the sales side. That part I don't understand, but our company does. Let me call somebody real quick. I promise you, if you call a couple of us and get one of us on the phone and say, hey, I'm sitting you're not going to call me and tell me you're sitting in somebody's office and I'm not going to help you. Because I appreciate the fact that you went in there and did that. So guys, like you'll hear some of these motivational speakers say, sometimes you got to jump off the cliff and you got to grow wings on the way down. That's just the way it is. You can't always have everything lined up from the beginning to the end, all the way until it's over with, then say, okay, I got it all figured out, now I'm going to go knock on the door. No, that's not the way it works. And even if you do figure it out, when you go knock on the door, it's not going to happen that way. So don't even worry about that. It's not going to go down that way. You've got to make sure that your first urge has got to be, I'm gonna go out here and do this. Because you will definitely, without a doubt, once you get in the mix, once you start doing it, you get excited, you're gonna love doing it, you can have a conversation, but pull the company's information so that you have a conversation to have.
Yeah, don't go in there general.
Yeah, now because now you're trying to BS your way through a conversation instead of you literally going in there and being excited because you pull some information and you got something to talk about. The problem with most of us, we're not doing business. That's why we can't do business. And a business owner they know they can smell a salesperson coming. They don't have a problem spending money to make their business better, but you better know what you're talking about. And if you don't, you better have somebody to call. They got to be able to see that sincerity in your face and hear it in your voice. And you're not going to have that if you're not serious about doing it. So understand, you got the help you need here. Because again, you can look in the chat. I've helped an accountable amount of people on this call and in this company that'll just say, and I don't want nothing. If you call me and be like, hey, I'm about to walk in this company because if I have any questions, can I call you? You can call me. I don't want none of your group because you called me to answer a question. I'm good.
Right.
I'll help you through it. I appreciate the fact that you're going out there and you're working your business, right? And that you're even in a position where you need somebody to help. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So I would tell you just go out there and make it happen. Go out there and make it happen. Quit being scared. Quit being, I'm not sure. Put it on. Go out there and talk. And you're going to realize when you do it a few times, man, I thought these people knew more than I knew. And you end up knowing more than they know and understand about. I mean, I talk to trucking companies, they don't even, they can't even say data Q, right? They call it data Q data.
Yeah, that guy didn't know. He didn't
Right?
even know. Yeah. You'll be surprised if you have conversations like Dunbar said, just the information that is shared here about conversations and sales. I mean, you'll be surprised what your prospects don't know. You know more than them. And, but I think you need to look at that safer report because you don't want to go in with these things about, lowering your insurance. Had an associate told a guy that, and he told him, hey, my insurance is not high. So sometimes you have to reword that, ask, are you seeing an increase in your insurance versus assuming like the script says, we lower your insurance. That might not work with everybody. So you have to be careful with that. But just have those conversations. You'll be surprised how appreciative they are to talk to you.
John, you got anything over there? I want to.
No, Sherranda took all my thunder.
So what?
She always does.
Sherranda took all my.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, seriously though. I had a guy last week. He was getting ready to eat. Well, he had really started to eat me up. He was really mean. He really was. He was so mean. He was a mean man. But I wasn't calling him to sell him. I was talking about the road check, and he just knew I was gonna sell him something. People don't call for free, and he just went off. And I just stayed nice, and I say, sir, I just want to share this with you. I honestly want to make sure, because he told me the violations he had were they were. He said he did it. He had 5 trucks now. He had sold 1. I just continue to have conversation with him. I got an email from his son this morning because he told me to email his son because he's the one does operations. And his son said, my daddy spoke so highly of you. But I mean, that man he about ate my head off the first 5 minutes we were on the phone. But you just gotta let people know you care. And I think all of us in the CDLP space, we care about these people and we kind of feel sorry for them, really. I mean, because we know their numbers are bad. But John, I ain't gonna take it. Go ahead, John.
No, I was just reading some of the chat notes here, but I mentioned earlier that I had taken a field training with an associate. Second time we've been out, and we opened a group the first call, and that's almost the worst thing that can happen when it's that easy, because they're not all that easy. Because this guy was higher than a kite. He said we got a group with a new company, 100 drivers, and I probably drove that by the company 100 times, and finally took the time to go in there. I would have known it would have been that easy. I would have taken it for all myself. But it was nice. I had to field train with somebody who actually lives in the area, because I'm about 120 miles away from this company, and we're gonna share that group, and he's gonna be responsible for going in there. But yeah, you like Sherranda said, you want to do your little bit of homework first before you talk to people. Make sure you got your verbiage down. Don't assume certain things about their insurance cost or driver retention. Those hot topics, and you'll find a way to manage yourself around those little potholes in the road with the more experience you do get. And so it becomes naturally, in the course for a field trainer, it almost becomes natural. And with the way we do it, we can almost sense, what they're going to bring up. And, I've been shown out the front door of a company before, I went in the back door, but they let me out the front door because it was when COVID was, going really bad. And I'm pretty persistent when I go calling a company. If I'm going to take my time to call a company, I'm going to make sure I talk to somebody. And this one company didn't appreciate that. I went in the back door and to try to talk to somebody, but that was one out of maybe 14 years of experiences. So that doesn't happen all the time.
On Saturday, I was in a workshop Saturday. Do y'all know how many carriers are out there right now? Can somebody guess? Just drop in the chat. How many carriers you think we have out there? Y'all know? Y'all don't even know the opportunity.
Probably about 70,000, Sherranda.
And that they put it up in a database. It was like 2.1 million.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 2.1 million carriers out there. That's our opportunity. That's what we have out there. And I mean, on a day-to-day basis, a lot of carriers are being discontinued, revoked, but still about 1,000 carriers started every single day, Monday through Friday. So, you got the people to talk to. Yeah. It's a lot of them out there. So.
But you gotta call them, you gotta talk to them, you gotta reach out to them, you gotta tell them. And I saw somebody put in the chat, right? We keep saying this every week. You have to ask questions. You have to ask questions, guys. You gotta ask questions. There's no other way of looking at that. You gotta ask questions. When you're telling somebody what to do, when you're making nothing but statements, guys, guess what? Oh, hold on, let me get that shut down. Oh, this might get it. Get a minute. Okay.
And on that call, AJ said, look how many people on the call, 78. On that call that day, it was 51 people on that call, on that workshop.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't, you have to look at asking questions, because now you cut down on people getting aggressive with you when you do that, when you're doing presentations and talking to people. Ask questions, right? And try not to use the word why. That's just a sales tip, guys. Don't say why. So if you look at somebody's safety score and their safety score is bad, and you go to talk to them, and I say, so Ms. Sherranda, I'm reaching out to you because I saw you guys' safety score took a little bit of a hit, and I wanted to see whether or not you guys had any attorneys working with you guys to help get that in place so y'all can do the data queue and blah, 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 right? Do my spiel. And then Sherranda says, oh no, we got that under control. We got somebody helping. And then the first thing I say back is, well, why your score look like that then? That's offensive.
I said, that's what it did for him.
So, but see, the thing is, for me, is not to start with why, but I would say what? So I'm gonna ask the same question because I do want to know that, but I'm just not gonna say why. And I'll say, well, when I looked at your score, it looked like in the last 6 months you guys got about 5 different violations. Is there any reason why the attorney hadn't been able to take care of it? Y'all not got to a court? I'm just trying to find out to see whether or not you're still in the position to be able to help get it taken care of. So I'm gonna ask that way. I'm just not gonna say, well, I'm getting to the same thing that you would, because that question is.
Well, I said that earlier. I say it like this. Now, I was taught by one of my other mentors, when I feel like I've lost the sale, if you feel like you lost it, go ahead and let them know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when their numbers are bad and, they say they got somebody else, and I said, well, that's why I'm calling. So I'm trying to understand exactly what is that person doing for you. So I've had people recently take notes so they can go back to these consultants and all these people and say, hey, how about my safety score? What's going on with my safety score? What exactly are you doing with that? But you know, when I asked them, you know, that's why I'm calling, I felt like I've lost the sale anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I was told, like, if you feel like you done lost it, go ahead and let them know. Put that
Yeah, but I
call
don't
in
think there's
there.
nothing wrong with that though. I don't think there's nothing wrong with what you're saying. That's why I'm calling. I'm talking about when a person said, not asking them why, but actually using that word when they start their
Oh,
question,
okay.
saying, okay, we already have an attorney taking care of that. Well, why does your score look like that then? You can ask that question and not, you put the why first. It's just a sales tip.
Right.
So like you said, so, oh no, that's why I'm calling. You saying that, that's not offensive, right? If you say, so let me ask you a question. Do you or anybody else inside the company, do you guys have any clue on how the people that are fighting these things are fighting them? Because it seems like they're still showing up, and I want to see if we can help with that. You can still let them know that that's what I'm here for. And like you said, if you feel like you lost a sale, you can't do no damage to a sale, to a lost sale anyway. But it's just how you saying it sometimes. And sometimes we get offended when a person doesn't see value in what we offer, and we start to, now we turn it into a debate or a fight or whatever, as opposed to trying to keep our composure, like you were saying earlier. Keep your composure and like control the deal so that you can boom. Get in there, and because sometimes a person goes over the edge, and you can bring them right back. And you make enough calls that I know you've done that before. Sometimes a person will like kind of get a little bit, and then you can say something to them, and they'll come back down. Especially if you don't go up with them, they'll come back down and start listening to you. And when that happens, sometimes you can get them, you can close them on that, because we really have something that helps them. And millions, right? Millions of trucking companies. And there's only a few companies that do what we do, and we're the only one that does 100% tragic accident coverage. We're the only one that really has dedicated law firms that work with us. So we got a really good leverage here. We just got to make sure we're using it correctly. Absolutely.
And that's what a lot of, recently I would say, a lot of people say now, oh, we got a consultant, we got somebody that does that. Don't walk away from that, guys. Don't walk away from that. Because we know consultants don't go to court with them. 9 times out of 10, they're just waiting on time. That's all. And they've strung these people along. They might get you for them, but they don't do what attorneys do. So you don't run away from that. Mr. Isaac, you want to answer a question?
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. Yeah, well, I just wanted to say that, I definitely agree. I think that one of the biggest problems, I guess, once we get into the CLD avenue, we have to just remember that we can't be getting caught up in emotions. It's almost like selling a house. Who it is. I have a buyer, but and then I have a seller. So the seller's all upset because he wants it a certain price, but the buyer, here you are, you trying to help the buyer so that you can go ahead and, because I'm the middleman, right? And so I'm still talking to the seller, but he's so emotional because he wants it for $1 million, but really you're not going to get $1 million on that. So that kind of turns away the buyer and everything. So getting back to this, I've learned selling for this company that I just don't be emotional about it. If they say no, I just tell myself, well, okay, that's fine. But I'm going to turn back around later. I'm going to call back again because I don't accept no for the answer. No will become a yes, So that's how I move into that. But I don't get emotional about it.
That's good.
That's all I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Absolutely. Anybody else? John, you got something?
I was going to say, sometimes there's something more liberating than letting a prospect go if you're not going anywhere with it. And that's when I'll say why, or I'll give them the report and I'll say, you're doing a good job, keep it up. There's nothing more liberating sometimes because when someone's just not interested at all, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to actually wait for some personnel to change in that office in order to get back in there. So that's what you have to wait for and just move on. There's too many other companies to go after.
Absolutely. I agree.
Hey, John, that's good. that's good too, because you got to know when to walk away from something. Like you got to know when to say, you know what, good company, bad situation, and you can tell when the safety manager don't care about the safety. You ever go to a company that's like the safety manager don't even care about the safety of the company? You're thinking either they're gonna go out of business or they're gonna get rid of him or her, and I can come back, circle back. So sometimes you just gotta walk because you don't want to mess up a 76 vehicle company because the safety manager is the knucklehead. That safety manager might not even be there in 6 months. So just walk away and come back, like John just mentioned, because sometimes you can preserve your ability to go back in because you don't push buttons and now you're starting to tick everybody off because you're trying to get past the person that's in charge. If that person seems like it's a completely shut door, go to the next company, put them on your list to follow up. And you can follow up. I can follow. So say Sherranda, I'm gonna make Sherranda the bad guy. Say Sherranda was a person that I spoke to at the company and she just was nonchalant, didn't care, wasn't interested in nothing I was saying. I may put them on a list to call them back. And I may call and say, hey, I'm just giving you guys a call real quick. Is Sherranda still you got safety manager? And they say, yeah, I get off the phone. I'm gone. I'll call back and do that. Then they say, you know what? She's not here any longer. And I'll say, okay, so who's the safety manager now? Then I'm gonna start talking to him. Guys, I mean, so sometimes that's what you gotta do. That's sales. That is sales. But don't mess up the deal because the person working in there, because that's one employee inside that company that could just be having a bad day. Sherranda might not even be a bad person. She might just be having a bad day. I might be calling on the wrong day. So you just never know. Don't mess it up.
Yeah, my biggest company I got, they had a website, and I followed the website, and now they're on the third safety director since I had the company. I mean, before I had the company, the guy left, and I hadn't closed the guy. But when I saw they had changed safety directors, I called and I said, "Oh, I was working with the other guy, and we were getting ready to roll this out." Like, so they don't know. Like, so you gotta know. You just gotta work it.
All right, so it is 9:40. Guys, it's been a pleasure. We love working with everybody, helping as much as we can. Remember, guys, this Saturday, Lamar Reynolds and Alan Roman will be working together to deliver a powerful CDLP certification training. If you're not certified, get certified. If you are certified, you need a refresher. Go ahead and get your refresher so that you can get a little bit better at CDL. Remember, Lamar Reynolds, 90% of his business on the books is group bank draft. He is the bank draft king when it comes to CDLP. So if you're interested in opening up CDLP groups and you're thinking payroll deduction, right, rotation in these drivers, he is the guy that can talk to you about opening up groups bank draft, meaning that they're not going through payroll. So get on that training, learn that information. Make sure you register by 2 p.m. 2 p.m.
$49 for everybody.
$49, guys. $49. I put the link in the email that went out earlier. And you can also go to LS Engage and register there as well. Alan Roman, number one CDLP business writer in the company. They're training alongside each other. A $200,000 ring earner and a $100,000 ring earner that concentrate on the CDLP space. So make sure you guys are on that. Remember, every Monday we're here. On Thursday, Sherranda Ivey has her accountability CDL call, so you can get plugged in there as well, and then stay on the Facebook page to ask your questions. Sherranda?
No, I was just telling AJ, no, it's no CDLP breakout. Our corporate runs our CDLP training, so no. We just got the solutions breakout. So, no, we're not there.
We'll do a CDL breakout on Zoom.
Yeah, I want to get on that training though. Lamar Reynolds, even though Lamar walks into companies years ago when him and Dunbar, they were training me, he taught me how to read these reports. He'd be walking in a company and he would, go over the company right quick before he did the safety, before he started doing the annual trainings that he does. And he just taught me right quick. It's not a long process. You don't have to look at the whole thing. You don't have to analyze it. You know, you just look at a few things. And he taught me, even though he walks in, he taught me how to read it because I was having to work from home because my mom had broke her hip. And so Lamar and Alan are the top producers in CDL. You guys want to get on there and listen to what these guys are doing. They definitely keep it simple. They really do. They keep it simple. Real simple.
John, any closing words?
No, looking forward to Lamar's training. That's it.
All right, good stuff. All right, guys, appreciate you all. I know it's 9:43. Look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Thanks for being so supportive and so consistent. We thank you all. We look forward to talking to you guys all again. Everybody have a great close up of the month and have a great rest of your week.